Thanks for tuning in to Look at My JPEG, the podcast that discusses NFT, DeFi, and NFT financialization. This is your host, Xerox Jose, the founder of nftperp. The reason why I want to do this podcast is because there's just not enough people talking about NFT financializations. In this podcast, you can expect us to invite guests that are builders, founders, even investors that are deep in the NFT financialization space. We'll discuss their story, what they're building, and how you can get involved. So thanks for tuning in.
Okay, let's jump right in. Maybe before we talk about AAA, give us a quick intro of yourself. How'd you get into crypto? What was your first NFT purchase? And we talk about AAA.
Sure. So I'm Mikado. I'm co-founder at AAA and kind of lending aggregator. So we make sure that whether you're a borrower or you're a lender, you get all the data you need and you don't miss out the best rates when taking out loans against any of your NFT. So working on this with two other people for less than a year now. It's been going pretty nice, despite the whole bear market vibes. The interesting space to be in that I'd be very curious to discuss with you for the next hour. Otherwise, I got into crypto quite some time ago. In 2017, it was my first bull run. But I started working in it only 2 years ago, more into, it was around NFTs, but more into like social things or being stuff around lands and NFT communities for DAOs, stuff like this. And my first NFT purchase, I believe, was when the meme came out. So it was early 21 something.
Yeah. Well, social fi, it seems to be, like, I guess we want, right? Just a little bit.
Yeah, it's starting with friend tech, things like this. It's always interesting to see like things like friend tech coming out, because I've been thinking of this kind of aspect, but like it's so simple and well made, but it never crossed my mind either. At the same time, so it's very interesting to see this space taking off. Hopefully, the whole like lens ecosystem is also continuing. Some people have been raising to build some apps over there. So it's nice, and some other ecosystem for sure are taking off. So hopefully it will continue to grow.
Yeah, it's certainly quite interesting. And we can maybe talk about these like different topics that towards the end of the Twitter space. We can kind of focus on AAA for now. But yeah, thanks for the introduction here. So maybe for those that are listening for the first time that they don't know about AAA, can you give us a quick intro of what AAA is, what problems you guys are solving, and yeah, I'm sure we'll dive into more details.
Sure. So AAA is a tool that makes it like much easier and faster for anyone to take a loans against your NFT. So you don't have to go through all the different offers from all different 10 platforms that have some different mechanisms, different UI, different everything. You have this unified interface. We get all the different protocols that matter the most for the offers. And then you can get to make sure that you're not missing out on the best rate when taking out loans. And then from AAA, you can manage your loans, you can repay them, you can extend them, you can check out the lender strategies, the other borrower strategies. So whether or not you're on the borrower side or on the lender side, if you're interested in the data aspects or in the action aspects, everything's on AAA, and you can do it from AAA. The dash finance.6yz.
Yeah, okay, that's really interesting. How many platforms are you guys currently integrated with?
So on the offer side, we have, I think it's around like 8 or 9, I believe. We mostly focus on the peer-to-peer aspects, not so much on peer-to-pool, which are less like representative for us. So we still have Bendao, but we don't have Parspace. Otherwise, most of the others are there for the offers. We're soon integrating also Kairos, another protocol, smaller one. But we even have Zarta, we have Arcades, we have Gondi that recently launched. We have Astaria also. We do have quite a lot.
So when you say offers, you meant like lenders who are having ETH available and taking in NFT as collateral, like those are us as offers, right?
Yes, exactly. So if you want to borrow against currencies, you can get the lenders most of the time from the peer-to-peer platforms. They will put out some loan offers on any particular NFT. So it can be on the collection level or it can be on the individual NFT level. And then when you connect, we provide to you, like based on your NFTs specifically, which offers is the best, whichever the platform it is. And oftentimes it can actually be a specific offers on the token ID of the NFT. It's not always connection ID.
I see. I wonder, like, do you guys currently offer, or do you guys like also interested in offering like things like, if I have a pudgy and I'm looking across different NFT peer-to-peer lending protocols on AAA, I don't see anything I like. Is there any way that I could, like, for example, it's almost like a listing. So I take my pudgy and I say, I want to take out a certain EV on this loan, and here's how much I'm willing to pay. Who can accept my bid, and lenders can accept my bid. Like, is that something you guys are also looking into?
So this should be pushed around next week, end of next week. Yes.
Oh, wonderful.
Or maybe a bit more, but yeah, like this idea of cross platform listing has been overhead for quite sometimes. And now that we have finished integrating most of the protocols, we're moving on to this and some other features. But yes, like all the platforms that allows you to list your NFTs, you make one listing that will work on all the different ones, sign each time, but at least it makes the process much smoother and easier.
Yeah, that's amazing. So it's like when you, as a borrower, you have intent to take out a loan against your NFTs, and once you list it on AAA, this offer will be available on all the lending platforms out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Exactly, for any lender to take your part. That's a very interesting point in the sense that there are different profiles of people that are taking loans against their NFTs, but there are a lot of people that are only trying to discuss with lenders. There's really this aspect of relationships and discussions lenders to try and argue for some better rates. So they will often come and discuss on Telegram or Discord to argue that their NFT is valued more, these kind of things.
Yeah.
So we're also showing like the estimated value of each NFT so that lenders can have a better idea exactly about how safe they are if they want to lend above the floor. And most of these vendors, like borrowers, are trying to, they do have like rare NFTs that has the value above floor. Sometimes could be like 2 to 3 times more than the floor, and they get offers proportionate to this. So these kind of offers are very personal. They go through discussions. So all of this process, we're trying to make it like simpler because it's not direct, it's not instant. But otherwise, you have the collection ID offers are pretty green.
Yeah, it takes time, right? That negotiation process.
It can take time, yeah, because some people they will have like a bundle, like a bulk, where they take loans against like 10 of their NFTs, and half of them are above floor value or things like this, and they want to be considered as like more valuable NFTs and not just like a floor collection NFT.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's why personally really like protocols, like Aria, for example. A lot of their appraisal is very granular. Like it really looks at specific token IDs with individual appraisals and offer instant liquidity in terms of from a lender side to those NFTs.
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually funny from our story because it's like it's the only protocol that we have that doesn't make collection offers. There's only offers on like there is like each token ID has a specific offers. So some of them can have tens of them. So we can deduct the collection floor offers based on the lowest average of the offers. But yeah, at Aria they have like thousands and thousands of offers for each specific token ID. Okay, it's a very interesting protocol for that.
Yeah, but then like I guess like I probably need to also pick up on a story update as well. They recently launched their relaunched their protocol. I suppose those appraisals and offers are not going to be negotiable, right? With borrowers, those you kind of like set it in. And since they have like their own appraisal model, there's no specific negotiation process or anything like that.
Yeah, that is true. And then on that front, that is true, mainly because right now there's only one lender that is making strategies on Astoria, and the like strategy building aspect of Astoria is not permissionless yet. So I don't know if it's on the roadmap to enable it, but yeah, it does mean that you need to, like, there's only one lender you cuss about, and so there's no the idea of going and chatting with someone to then argue for better rates doesn't exist on our side. So you do have some good granularity for instant loans, but you can't like have a very personalized kind of offers on the whole.
Yeah, and that's a difficult thing. Like when you can't negotiate and like you don't have a lot of resources to go to, it kind of as a borrower sometimes get into loans that perhaps you could be getting a better offer or turn somewhere else, and they just don't know about it. And that's one thing I wanted to ask you about. Like, we know this Twitter account gets set up, this AAA lending bot. That's quite interesting. Can you tell us a little more about that in terms of how it's will scan across these different lending protocols and gives you the data?
Yeah, sure. Hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you. Sorry, my question was, could you tell us a little bit more about the AAA lending bot, the Twitter account? Oh wait, did he just drop off? Okay. Sorry guys, got a little bit of technical difficulty. Hope he can join back pretty soon. There he is.
Dropped off. I think some of his side. Sorry for that. But yeah, we're talking about the NFC lending bots Twitter account that we made, which is yeah indeed quite funny. That it will like look at every loan that has been taken out, and then we'll compare if better offers actually exist, and then if they do, they will make a tweet, and we actually get like tens and tens of them every day, where people are taking a loan on some platforms, but they could have had a better loan to value or lower APR or some better duration, and even sometimes it's on the same protocol. So on NFTFi, often it can also be difficult to see very like all of the options, and if you have a lot of them, to go through all the different ones. So it's interesting to see.
Yeah, absolutely. So with the lending bot you guys have running, are they including like all the peer-to-peer protocols out there, or are there specific protocols?
So you're talking about the lender bot strategies?
Yeah.
Yeah. They are integrating with the peer-to-peer. It depends. Like some bots are focused on some platforms, some others on like on all the platforms. It's very granular on that front. I would say that most a lot of the volumes happens with bots, but we also we don't have the numbers, but I think there's a very high amounts of loans that happens OTC, where people are not just only taking on like lending bots, but on actual lenders. So it's a mixed.
Yeah, got it. Um, so with the sort of introduction of AAA, like what are some of the features and development that you guys are looking to push out in the near future? And with regards to the lending bot, of you guys are kind of highlighting the inefficiencies of the lending space. Like, what other inefficiencies do you guys see, and how do you guys plan to kind of fill that gap?
Yes. So the features that we are developing is for us to try to be more specific on the needs of the borrowers and also to protect the borrowers in a better way. So to explain myself, so borrowers in general, they will take a loans for different reasons, and each reasons needs some specific tools that we're trying to provide in a better way. So some people will try to hedge themselves against their NFTs, so they will take a loans, let's say 70% loan to value for 1 week or 2 weeks, because they want to protect themselves against some announcements. So there's a new meme coming in or announcements or release. It's a very smart way to protect yourself against a price breakdown by just taking out loans. You take it on a 1 week period or 2 weeks periods, you don't pay that much interest, and then you're protected for, I would say, around 70 to 80% of the floor price of the NFT. So they require some specific tools that we're adding on the platforms. Then we have the people that are taking more long-term borrow deals. They really want the money to do something else. Let it be to buy some other NFTs or to buy some real stuff or to do whatever. Those kind of people, for them, the rates matters more. Discussing with the lenders matters more. Having the rare NFTs taken in consideration matters more. So, pushing more on the listing aspects for this. And other features like on the platforms for them to make some better decisions at the moment of taking the loans. And then we'll adding some smart contract features. So it's not a protocol, but it's just some features that helps them protect in general when they get a loan. For example, we'll have how do you say, like a loan extension features that will run on NFT files, where people can take a flash loans to repay the loans and then take a new one, which currently isn't possible on NFT5, where you need to close the loan to open a new one. So you can extend it, but it needs to be the same lender. So with these features, you could close a loan on NFT5, open a new one on X2A2 or on Arcade or whichever. So this idea of being able to extend the loans cross platforms is very interesting and they're very appealing for the lender, for the borrower.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, why borrowers need protection? What are you protecting them from? And how is this extension of loan through flash loans, how is it implemented?
Sure. So in general, they need the protections because of because most of those loans are peer-to-peer are fixed terms, and they need to repay at a certain date. Otherwise, they get liquidated. So it can be very stressful for borrowers to manage this kind of repayment, because even if the NFT is still worth more than the loan, sometimes people forget to repay, or they don't have the money available right now, and they cannot repay the full loans even though they want to take a new one. So we see people shouting in the Discord, help me extend these loans or extend the period of my loan. I don't have the money right now. But with these kind of features, with the flash loans, that solves kind of the issue, because they don't have to bring the money up front, and they can take a new loan and just have to repay the interest of the previous loan. So for this to work, we have our own smart contracts where the borrowers will need to approve make an approval of their NFT of the loan NFT for us to be able to repay it, and in the same transaction make a flash loan to make a flash loan to repay it, and then take a new one, and then send the borrower NFT, the borrower the NFT to the borrower.
So the debt that you have to pay back to, let's say, for example, this borrower has initially borrowed from NFT5,
Yeah.
and the loan is about to expire. Let's say it's 20 ETH, and he doesn't have enough money to pay back the loan right now.
Yeah.
But he has the NFT as collateral. So what you're doing is you're paying back this loan, 20 ETH through a flash, like in one block. And at the same time, you redeem the NFT, take this NFT on a different, to a different lending protocol or a different lender, borrow that 20 ETH. Hopefully you can borrow that 20 ETH from there. And then you take this 20 to essentially give to the original lender, and then have this NFT to be essentially locked in a different lending contract. Will that work?
Exactly. So
But if there's not enough, like lending offer to cover the debt, like what is the additional capital?
So from the borrower, so let's say the borrowers he borrowed like 3 ETH, and maybe the offers didn't cover it all, but in most of the times they will maybe advance like a 0.1 or 0.2 or something like this, which is a much lower amount than the full loan. So they will cover the difference. If there's a better offer, and the better offer can even pay the interest of the previous loan, then that's even better. Otherwise, they put the rest up front.
So they don't need to essentially like sell.
Yeah, exactly.
They just essentially didn't refinance it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a refinance. It's a refinance feature some way. And we're also thinking of adding if people don't want to refinance, features to self liquidate. So have make an auction where people can sell to the highest bidder the loan notes, so what represents the loans, so that the highest bidder can repay the loans and then get the NFT and hopefully profit on it.
Yeah, very interesting. So I wanted to ask you, with regards to borrower protection, I think one of the frustrating things that people are experiencing with borrowing on Blend, the Blur lending protocol, was that the lenders can essentially close out the loan in time, and it would require a refinance for the borrowers to continue to have this loan.
Yeah.
How do you guys think about protection for people that are borrowing on Blend?
So on Blend, so we're not developing so many things linked to Blur, because in the end, like their protocols is quite efficient from that point of view. They have the downsides, as you said, that the loan can be closed at any point, or even like the rates can be changed also at any moment without the borrowers directly knowing or approving it in the first place. So that's an issue. But it is an issue linked to the protocol, like to the protocol implementations. And so far, we haven't seen a way to really make it work in a better way. So to make it to improve it, these auction systems and the kind of liquidation features that they have within the Blend protocol is still quite efficient, because they linked it with their marketplace. So they made it in a way that it's very gas efficient to make this auction. So for like on all fronts, there's not much we can do. The limitation is really linked to the protocol, and we are not trying to do much on the other side.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I appreciate you kind of covering the borrower protection, that side of things, because we're focusing on. Outside of that, like as AAA, sort of grows, and you guys have obviously a lot of experience in the lending markets. Do you have any, suggestions, recommendations for the listeners, either lending or borrowing, with regards to, strategies and risk management in NFT lending?
Yeah, sure. So for borrowers, I would say that there's a lot of people that are not aware that taking a loan can work as a kind of a hedge, as a kind of options in the end, and they can protect themselves against some downturn. So if you're a big NFT holder and you know there is a big announcements coming in, and you're scared that they will fumble the bag, like Azuki did or some others, just take out a loans. The interest you will pay on this 1 week or 2 weeks will be quite insignificant compared to the whole value, and you can get a decent amount of loan to value, like 70 to 80%. So think about this as a NFT holders. Protecting yourself is quite smart. And then for lender, like try to get, like, if you don't have a bot, and it's really like tough to compete with people that have a bot, you can always discuss in the different Discord channels, try to talk with the different lenders. You will still end up getting like around 30 to 40% APR on most of the loan. And if you're careful enough on the valuations, you won't get defaulted on, hopefully for you. But it's still a very interesting land of returns over there, because you can get very high amounts by doing some work and not taking damage risk.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of works in two ways, right? Like the borrowers can hedge themselves. However, like if there's always someone on the other,
Exactly.
that's typically,
Yeah.
it's typically the lender. So finding a good balance of the two, you know, I think the market will find an equilibrium.
Yeah, it's 100%. So, like, as a lender, you need to be aware of this. So it's more about you trying to not take like a systemic risk, I would say. So avoid trying to lend like too many NFTs in the same collection at the same time. You can also like like if you go on AAA, you can know like on each collections how much is currently borrowed, so how many NFTs are currently in a loan. So that also gives you an idea, like when the Azuki announcement came out, the amount of loans placed so on Azuki also climbed up. So with as a lender, you can still be more about these kind of things and try to avoid those hedging strategies. But then at the borrowers, you will always have some collection offers and some bots that aren't aware of these kind of events, and I will still like try to bet on it.
Right. Yeah. When you have that like Azuki situation, or even like the recent Nakamigos,
Yeah.
you know, announcement of the mint, I guess no one can really predict that, but it's probably smarter for you to have a higher interest rate during the, you know, type of loans, you know, duration,
Yeah.
to kind of protect yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So I mean, that's interesting because for NFT perp, right, a lot of users, when our V1 was up and running, they were using the amount of loan that's getting close to underwater
Mm-hmm.
as a way to trade perps.
Makes sense.
Kind of like predict volatility.
Makes sense.
So yeah, so what you said makes sense. Like understanding the loan market for that specific assets before initiating either a borrow or a lend is instrumental, because you need to understand how much leverage in the system and how, you know, a flush of the leverage in the loan market can create volatility.
Yeah, 100%. And on that front, like that's where like most of the peer-to-peer protocols, like they have an advantage because they don't carry the risk of the liquidations. Like Bendao, where they need to liquidate and it's the protocol like role to liquidate. So that can be very tricky when people are aware that there is like 100 board ape that are need to be liquidated in the next 2 hours. The price actions move accordingly. So that's the beauty also of the blend protocol, where they manage to move these parts onto the lender and not on the protocol, but you can still know where some loans are underwater and like that. So and one peer-to-peer, you can also know, but it's less obvious because some loans will be like some NFT are value higher than the floor, or some people actually want to still own the NFT as a lender. So there is a more strategies possible, and less sure that every liquidated asset on a peer-to-peer loan will be resell immediately on Blur or Bitsit.
Yeah, that's true. It's slightly different because the risk is outsourced to individuals as opposed to a protocol level,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, hard
That's the it's the beauty of this aspect of being like oracle-less, liquidation-less. It's you put a lot of pressure on the lenders because they take most of the risk, and the borrower also. The lenders are getting compensated for it, and as for the borrowers, we're trying to make it in a way that is safer for them, so that they don't take too much risk.
Got it. Yeah, super interesting. I think outside of that, are there any other specifics in the lending markets that you guys often think about, would like to highlight? Um, I'd love for you to cover that. If not, like I think that sort of most of my questions for today.
I mean, not so much. I would say that we're starting to see like real world assets being more often used as collaterals on those platforms. So a lot of watches are being used as collateral. We also saw some mortgage being used as collateral. So it's getting interesting also in this space. So it's definitely something to follow up.
Yeah, real world assets, the interesting one. Like, okay, I live in take a loan on this one.
So there's these protocols like a 4K watch protocol that allows you to. So I believe it allows you to tokenize it and then be able to have the tokenized version of the watch. So that means that they have it in custody. So they custody it for you. They make the authentication, they price it, and then they issue them. They issue the NFT. So I don't know exactly about how like the whole process how it works, who can do it, what kind of watches they accept. But I often see on arcades some loans on some Rolex and stuff like this.
Man, could you imagine like people lending out money? Ooh, that 140.
Yeah, yeah. It could have been crazy.
Down back.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's going to be interesting, like in the next bull run, because they will for sure be one. Maybe it will be real world assets that will trigger it, or some other stuff. Maybe we'll be in 2 years. So, okay, we never know. But it will be interesting to see how like these protocols, lending protocols, or nftperp, and all those the options, how they behave in these kind of scenarios, because in the end we've seen them behave mainly in bear markets and they've been holding pretty good, but in bull markets with leveraging stuff like this, it will get quite crazy.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I don't know. I feel half bullish but also skeptical about real assets. So jury's still out.
What's your bearishness?
Uh,
Yeah, 100%. But the pawn shop will take so much more money than what the 4K is offering you. Like the spread is, I believe they're saying the spread is between like at around 15% or something. So it's maybe more practical if you need this quick loan. But even like the APR is really high. And on the Rolex, on arcade, like they're taking loans on like 10%, 12%. So because like these assets are considered like much more solid than the random NFTs where like the APR is at like 30-40%. So I think in the end, you might go there because you just get better rates, better liquidity.
that's interesting. I don't even feel like there is like really, really good like efficient marketplaces for watches yet. So and for those who are listening, we're kind of gone off of a little bit off rail of NFT finance, but why not? I feel like there is not enough good marketplaces for watches. Because right now, like the most popular ones are either you go to a dealer. 80s are typically very knobby people, and they're horrible to deal with, especially like the APs, the Pateks, the Rolexes. They just I hate those people. Anyway, so typically you buy on Chrono 24 or Chronex. Um, they are, some of them are peer to peer, but a lot of them are just like, think of it like an Amazon for watches, where they have verified dealers go on there. You can also have private sellers. But what I always thought was interesting is they never had a bidding function. Like all these platforms don't have bids. They only have a bunch of asks, and they feed users to buy them, but they never had users that are allowing people to create marketplaces for both sides of the
That interesting, yeah.
bidding. Yeah, so I found it quite incredibly inefficient. Because I know there's a bunch of watches out there, but I'm only willing to pay for this much, and I'm sure there are watches sellers out there that's willing to take some bids. So I thought that was interesting. I think if you have that for real world assets, like, hey, I want to buy some cars, and this is my bid price. You can essentially allow people to create marketplaces for them and understand like both sides of demand around real world assets as well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which is interesting because once you have bidding markets on real world assets, it makes it easier for those that are lending out those watches to be able to liquidate them.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that it's always about the liquidity. Exactly. So and it could it's interesting because it could like creates a kind of snowball in the right direction where you don't need to get like 1,000 Rolex to be tokenized. If already you have like 100 of them used on some lending protocols, or where like some bidding system can be created on those tokenized assets, and then this serves as a kind of like price anchor for the off-chains ones. It creates this like improved liquidity where you get some better idea of what your watch is worth, and it makes the whole thing easier. So it's real. I never thought that I didn't knew that you can never bid on stuff. You can only see the price of what the sellers are asking, but not the other way around.
You can kind of bid it on eBay. Although like eBay watches there's a market on eBay for watches.
Yeah.
You can do like individual item auctions.
Yeah.
Like you can bid on watches, yes, but you can't really do that on a collection level, for example.
Yeah.
Like can I place a collection bid on all the Rolex Mariners that are between 1970 and 1980, and I want this specific dog color. Like ideally you should be able to place those bids and people can just sell into it. But it's no problems.
Yeah, that's interesting. Do you know like I've just heard of them very recently, like the website called watches.io.
Yeah,
in NFT file, like a Telegram group, right? Okay. So you're seeing the new stuff.
Yeah, they're really interesting stuff. Sure.
Nice.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for coming on to the show and talk about what you guys are building. I'm super excited about the NFT aggregator market for lending. Before we go, is there anything that you want the listeners to know about in terms of AAA's upcoming developments people should be following?
I mean, many follow the Twitter accounts, AAA _lending, and the website, and keep this in mind. If you have a lot of NFTs, protect yourself. If you want to earn some money and be smarter than the bots, make some lending. There's a good amount of opportunity despite the whole bear. Like the NFT volume market is getting really low, but the amount of loan volume is still quite high, and people are still doing stuff. So there is a lot of opportunities, and for you to even earn some point on some platforms, stuff like this. So don't miss out, and do your best. Thanks a lot. That was super nice. Yeah, awesome. Thanks a lot. Have a good one.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Look at My JPEG podcast. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your audio podcast from, give us a like, a subscribe if you like the content, and we'll see you in the next episode. Cheers.